Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 29th of July and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis. So friends, in the today's video, we are going to take the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper with the background as well as with the way forward in the relevant issues. Now guys, before starting up, I would like to tell you, if you are new, that you can download the explainer PDF from the Telegram channel, and the link for the Telegram channel has been given in the description box. Now, let's start with the first of all the overview of the today's newspaper in order to understand that which articles are going to be important for our exam. So here we have the Delhi edition, page number 1. There is no better time for sports in India, Prime Minister Modi. So basically guys, the Prime Minister has inaugurated the FIDE 44th Chess Olympiad in the Tamil Nadu, and he had said that government is creating the opportunity and how the sports ensures the holistic development of an individual and all these kind of things. Fine. Then moving on, after that, Partha Chatterjee is out of Bengal cabinet, a political article, not very much important. Biden Xi hold talks amid Taiwan row. So basically guys, we have seen already this particular thing that there was a visit from by the side of the US towards the Taiwan, which was not liked by the China, and on that particular thing now they are trying to solve these particular issues. But guys, see, you don't need to follow such kind of things because these are very kind of a dynamic kind of things which will happen. See, these kind of episodes will be happening multiple number times. The things will be going up and down. Fine, you don't need to go and follow all these particular things step by step. Then after that, moving on, we reach to the city section. Fine, in the city section, the regional issues etc has been talked about. Fine, nothing is important with respect to the UPSC examination in this particular direction. Fine, advertisements and all these things are being given. Now today is Saturday. On Saturday we have this spotlight page which is talking about the Amarnath Yatra, a soul-stirring spiritual sojourn. So basically the experiences of the people who are visiting there, find the journey and all these things are being discussed. Now with respect to the UPSC examination, much exam specific substance is not there in this article. You don't need to go too much into that. Then the Metro Plus page is there. Then again the advertisements and all these things are there. Okay, directly we'll be reaching to the editorial page where we will be finding some relevant content. Then guys, the first article, narrow view. So this article talks about the Supreme Court's judgment onto the constitutional validity of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and some provisions. We are going to see this particular judgment and this particular article. Then guys, moving it out, much needed bailout. So this article talks about the bailout package that has been given to the BSNL. Fine. Then guys, the growing disengagement with Gandhi's ideas. Now guys, this particular article, it is talking about that how the BJP, how the RSS, they are equating both the Savarkar and Gandhi onto the same lines. The article says that though Savarkar had played a very important role, but there is a kind of a particular type of political narrative that the present ruling government and they are trying to spread. Now guys, the article is very much politically inclined, and these politically inclined articles are not important for our examination, so no need to go into this particular article. UPSC substance, fine, is not there. Then moving on, this article is good one. The numbers do not reveal about what numbers do not reveal about the tiger conservation. Now this particular article will see good article. Then is the EPI, Environmental Performance Index, really faulty? We'll see this article also. Then guys, further moving on, so this is a notebook article. Now guys, the notebook article, basically here the author talks about some of the incidents, fine, from his personal life, his personal experiences etc. Fine. Then moving on, the text and the context. Now the first article is talking about the Tunisia's referendum. We'll see that what this article is all about. Reviving BSNL. So guys, again that BSNL bailout package is being discussed. Then a delectable recipe for success. So guys, this article talks about the culinary shows. Fine, the cooking shows, how they are changing and all these kind of things etc. Fine, not important for exam. Fine, no need to go there. Then guys, moving on, after that, we have see this particular thing, Lok Sabha sees tussle between the Congress chief Smriti Irani and all these things. Political article, not important. Rajya Sabha suspends 3 more members. So guys, we are seeing this from past 2 days that Rajya Sabha members are being suspended. Now in total 23 members in the Rajya Sabha have been suspended, and from past 2 days I am telling you that this thing has, on one hand there are some people who support it, on another hand people criticize it. The supporters say that this is important because some people people, they create ruckus, they bring lawlessness into the house, and to give them message to bring the productivity into the house, it is important to suspend them. But on another hand, if parliament will not have opposition, the parliament will mean nothing. Clear? So this is something that has been the case. After that, moving on, again the political articles etc have been given. Now guys, Colombo denies reports onto the Chinese ship. So basically, in the Sri Lanka, there is the port, that is the Hambantota port. Now the Hambantota port has been taken by the China on a 99-year lease by the Sri Lanka. So one of a Chinese ship might be docking on the Hambantota port. Fine, the China though has denied that no, we will not going to dock our ship on the Hambantota, but India says that okay, we are witnessing that particular thing. So such a kind of a dynamic, such a kind of an evolving thing has been discussed. Fine, no need to go too much into the detail. Airline reported these many snags. Fine, no plan to set up committee to implement the Uniform Civil Code. Clear? So guys, when we talk about the Uniform Civil Code, article number 44 of the Directive Principle of State Policy, Directive Principle of State Policy provides that Uniform Civil Code needs to be there. It means that the personal laws of all the communities need to be same. Now personal laws pertain to the issues such as the divorce, marriage, inheritance, adoption, etc. Right now different communities have different personal laws for marriage, for adoption, divorce, etc. So we need to have a common set of law. Direct article 44 of DPSP provides it. Now guys, few days back we have taken one particular article from the newspaper where we have seen that the law commission has been asked to look into this particular matter, but government says that okay, we are just asking the law commission to look into the matter, but to implement we are right now not thinking anything. Okay, after that, moving on, government worried about teen pregnancies. So India's family planning vision 2030 we are going to discuss here. Minister promises better policies for the migrant. Okay, so guys, we have seen that the reverse migration of 2020 happened, which was a very big humanitarian kind of a crisis, and on that particular line now we are going to frame the policies. Okay, explosives recovered from BJP leader's house. Fine, monkeypox to be studied by King's Institute. Nothing much important in this particular direction is there. Supreme Court warns against re-notifying poll process into the Maharashtra. So it talks about the local polls of the Maharashtra are being discussed. Then Kim threatens to use nukes in the conflict. So the North Korea had provided this thing that if South Korea as well as the USA, they will try to poke the North Korea, then they will use their nuclear weapons. Fine. Russia steps up strikes on the Kyiv amid counter attacks. So this Russia-Ukraine crisis is going on. Fine, no need to follow these particular things. Okay, just read the headlines. Beyond the headlines, content is not there into these articles. Fine, USA condemns Myanmar execution. So guys, just a couple of days back we have seen that 4 political prisoners were executed by the Myanmar. Even one editorial we have seen in that particular line. So United Nations Security Council had said that such kind of things are not acceptable. Fine, Macron hosts Saudi crown prince in Paris. Fine, 6 sentenced to death. Fine, so just these articles don't contain much of a substance, so please we need to move from here. Fine, oil refiners fuel price reset seeing worst year yet. So we have seen that the crude oil prices have increased historically high. Okay, spectrum auctions will on be a Friday. Sensex gain 2%. Okay, so just guys, these are the business related news that are there. Now you need to understand that for our UPSC, business related news is not important. The issues important are that are relevant for Indian economy. Okay, so that is something that we need to see. So this is guys the overview, and then now we have the sports page. So I hope that you are able to make sense of the newspaper. Okay, and I expect now that you are able to identify that which articles are actually important. Now moving on, and let's discuss all these articles one by one in the detail. So guys, we'll be starting first of all. In every class I give you one GS quotation which could be used in one of your GS paper or in essay. So today we are going to take the quotation from the Brian Tracy, one of a popular author. He says, courage combined with integrity is the foundation of the character. So courage and integrity is the foundation of the character. Guys, what do we mean by courage? Courage means to act in the face of adversity. Courage means to act in the face of fear. Courage never means that you don't feel fear. You feel fear, but you still act. You don't become passive. That is courage. What is integrity? Integrity is the adherence to the highest moral principles. Integrity is to have a coherence between what you think, what you speak, and what you actually do. So courage and integrity, when they will come together, it will lead to the foundation of a character. And both the attributes, courage and integrity, are even need to be there into the character of a public servant, character of a civil servant. This particular idea can directly be utilized in GS paper number 4. in GS paper number 4, topic of aptitude and foundational values. Topic of aptitude and foundational values. So that is all about the quotation. And now let's take the first article. Okay, so guys, this first article, what it reads that government is worried about the teen pregnancies. Government is worried about the teen pregnancies. Okay, just a minute, guys. I think there is some issue that is coming. Okay, fine. So government is worried about the teen pregnancies. Now guys, this particular article, first of all, we are going to see with respect to the GS paper number 1, population related issues. Population related issues. Now guys, before going in this particular article, I would like to give you some of a background information which is actually very much important for us this particular year. So guys, what had happened, first of all, in the background, few days back, United Nations World Population Prospect Report 2022 was released. United Nations World Population Prospect Report 2022 was released. Now this particular report has provided certain very important information. Number one, this particular report has provided that India is going to bypass China in 2023. So we will become the most populous country into the world. We will bypass the China in 2023. Secondly, basically the article also provides this particular thing that right now when we talk about the this report has highlighted this particular thing that as we talk about the India has around 2.4% of the land, but around 17.8% of the world population, 17.8% or nearly 18% of the world population, it is living in India. Thirdly, guys, this particular report has also highlighted this particular thing that right now India is having exceptionally high young population, but over the years, fine, the share of the old age population is also going to increase. Are you getting it or not? So certain data have been provided by this United Nations World Population Prospect Report of 2022. Now guys, in this particular light, as India is going to become one of the most populous country in the world, government has come out with one of a document, and this document is Family Planning Vision Document 2030. So this is all a background. First of all, you need to know this thing before going in this particular article, because only after you know all these things, this article is going to make some sense. So basically, because we are going to replace the China as the most populous country, government has come out with now this Family Planning Vision Document 2030. And this particular document has identified certain areas that the government needs to work upon so that our population doesn't goes up, so that our population doesn't converts into a demographic disaster. Is it clear? Now, what this particular document has talked about? This document has talked about that we need to work on certain areas immediately. The strategies to overcome teenage childbearing. Okay, so the child pregnancies, they are very much high. We need to control them in order to sustainably manage our population. Now guys, I would like to give you some additional information here. So recently, National Family Health Survey 5 was released. And according to the National Family Health Survey 5, it provided that in India, 3% of basically women, they are getting married before the age of 18 years. So the child marriages in India, out of the total marriages, 23.3% of marriages are the child marriages. Is it clear or not? So this is very much high number. Guys, we are having already the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, and this particular act, okay, and this particular act clearly provides this particular thing that a girl before the age of 18 and the boy before the age of 21 cannot be married, but still 23.3% of the girls that are getting married, they are below the 23.3% girls that are getting married, they are below the age of 18 years. So the child marriages are high, and when child marriages are high, obviously the child pregnancies are going to be very much high. So government in this particular document, Vision 2030 document, has provided that we need to work on this particular dimension. After that, government has also provided that we need to right now there is a lack of male participation in awareness programs. Okay, males are not participating in family planning, males are not using the male contraceptives, so we need to increase the awareness into the male. Okay, as well as the access of contraceptives. Sometimes the contraceptives are available, they are affordable, but they are not accessible. So this particular problem is to be solved. Now guys, the article provides this particular thing that the early child marriages it is a concern for the country. Now see, just one particular thing, when a girl is being married in a adolescence, let's say 14, 15, 16-year-old girl is getting married, she doesn't has the reproductive awareness, she doesn't has the reproductive knowledge, she doesn't even know about the available contraceptives, reproductive contraceptives such which could be there. So therefore her unmet need for contraception is very much high. Unmet need for contraception, it means contraception was needed but she was not able to know how to get it. So these unmet needs are very much high. So this particular section we need to tackle. Now this vision document 2030 provides that 44% of the districts in India, they report high percentage of women who are marrying before the age of 18. Child marriages are high. Which states are there? Now you don't need to go and see how number of districts, how number of villages are there. Just see the states. So Bihar is number one, then the West Bengal, Jharkhand, Assam, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Maharashtra. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. I would like to tell you some additional information again here, and then we are going to read this particular point. So, guys, see. Recently, I told you National Family Health Survey 5 was released. Now, this National Family Health Survey 5 had provided that India has reached the total fertility rate of 2.0. Now, if you are guys following regularly, just in the yesterday's newspaper article, I have explained you the concept of the replacement rate. I told you that the replacement rate according to the United Nations Population Division is 2.1. What is this 2.1? It means that if fertility rate of a country will reach 2.1, their population will stabilize. If it is more than 2.1, population will grow. If it is less than 2.1, population will go down. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. Let's make sense of this entire issue. National Family Health Survey 5 says our total fertility rate is 2.0. It means that every women the women who are married and who are into the reproductive age, they are producing 2.0 child. Now obviously this 2.0 is less than the 2.1, the replacement rate which has been provided by the UN population division. Now logically India's population should decline now because we are below 2.1. But right now what you have seen into the United Nations World Population Prospect report, that we are going to replace the China as the most populous country. So how this particular thing is possible? So guys, here there comes the concept of population momentum. Now what is the population momentum, guys? Basically, when we talk about the population growth, population growth actually depends on two factors. Factor number one, total fertility rate. Fine. So total fertility rate is already 2.0. Fine. So we are safe here. Factor number two is the number of young population. Guys, see this particular thing. If we will have more people in the reproductive age, then in absolute number, India's population is going to increase for a particular number of years. So this population momentum we are seeing. And guys, every country faces this population momentum where their fertility rate is not a problem, but still their population increases. Fine. So that is the issue. Clear. And the UN World Population Prospect report has clearly provided that this population momentum will continue for next 20 years or so. So therefore, whatever you do for population control, it is not going to have some result. It is a kind of a natural process that happens. Okay. And just if you want to make sense of population momentum more, I will give you one example. Just guys, imagine that there is a train. Now this train is going at 60 or 70 kilometers per hour. You just had pulled the chain of the train. Will train stop immediately? No, train will not stop immediately. Train will go for more 3, 4, 5 kilometers. Why? Because there was momentum that was there into the train. It will use that momentum. So the same thing is there in India. Today our total fertility rate has went down, but still the population is going to increase for next 20-25 years. Now guys, there are certain data also that what population will be there in what years. Fine, provided here. No need to go too much into the detail. Now basically the vision document of 2030 also provides that, see, India's youth population right now into the age group of 15 to 24, it has increased to 25.2 crores. It has increased to 25.2 crores in 2021, which is very much high. But from now onwards, this young population will start to decline, and it will reach to 23.4 crores in 2031. So next 10 years, our young population of 15 to 24 is going to decline. So therefore, guys, this is the time that we need to take the advantage of our young population. Now, the government, this population policy of 2030, which I have discussed here, it also talks about that there are the male members, their contraceptive methods are largely the condoms. Fine, they are not going for the birth control, other procedures. Fine. So basically, guys, Fine. So basically we have the female sterilization as well as we have the male sterilization. Female sterilization is there and then the male sterilization is there. These are the surgical operations. Surgical operations are not being carried by the males. Fine, just they rely onto the condoms, and the male sterilization is just 0.3% because of that particular thing. The high burden is onto the women. Fine, it is women's responsibility to go for the family planning. This particular vision document provides this particular thing that we need to also increase the awareness, as well as a private sector should also contribute into the family planning. Is it clear or not? So this is something that has been provided right now. Also private sector contributes 45% in share of pills, 40% into the share of condoms, but it needs to be increased even more. So this is something which has been discussed in this particular article. And guys, see, vision 2030 is which is provided, which is right now we are discussing, but to make sense of this vision 2030 family planning policy, vision 2030, you need to know little bit about the United Nations World Population Prospect report, which I had discussed here, and the data from the National Family Health Survey 5, because when these three things will be combined together, then you will be able to make sense of this issue. Now moving to the next article. Now this particular article, just a minute. What numbers do not reveal about tiger conservation? Fine. So this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 3, environment and conservation. Okay, environment, ecology and conservation. Now, so basically guys, July 29, that is today, July 29 is celebrated as the Global Tiger Day, also called as the International Tiger Day. Now the article has been written on this particular occasion, and article is providing this particular thing that when we talk about the tigers, with respect to the tigers, we have done a good work and the number of tigers have been recovered back in India. We have rebounded onto the tiger population, but there is something more that has to be done in order to make sure that the tiger is not extinct in India. Now the article provides this particular thing. By the way, when we talk about the tiger, the status of tiger is endangered. The status of tiger is endangered on the IUCN red list. Now, what the article is providing? Article provides this particular thing that India, first of all, should be appraised. India should be given an appreciation because we have recovered one endangered species. Is it clear or not? Now we are having high number of tiger population. When we talk about the number of tigers, we have our population of tigers have increased by 40% since 2005. Moreover, National Tiger Conservation Authority, Project Tiger that government has started already. These things are bearing a lot of success, and 40% recovery into the tigers have been there. This is something very much good. But guys, see, right now something more is to be done. We should not just be happy that we have increased the number of tiger population into the absolute numbers, but guys, we need to make sure that our tiger population, it is just not restricted in certain patches. Rather, there needs to be the connectivity between the tiger habitats, between the tiger regions. Now I'll tell you this particular thing. Now guys, see, suppose okay, just guys, let's understand one particular concept which is being discussed here. Now suppose this is region A, this is region B, and this is region number C. Now in all these particular region, there are certain number of tigers that are living. Let's say 100 number of tigers are living here, 100 tiger are living here, 50 tigers are living here. Now obviously, when these tigers are limited to this particular region, they will reproduce with each other. Over a period of time, their genetic pool will be same. Now guys, when the genetic pool will be same, then if any one particular disease will come in this particular region, it will wipe off the entire tiger population because everybody's genetic structure was the same. Now guys, in this particular capacity, when we talk about what happens if there will be the interbreeding, let's say the tiger of this region are breeding here, then the tiger of this particular region are breeding here, then tiger of this particular region are again breeding here. So if this interbreeding will be there will be a diversity into the genetic pool of the tigers. And when there will be the diversity, one particular disease might not be able to wipe up the entire population, because sometimes when genetic diversity is there, with respect to certain disease, there is a kind of an immunity that has been provided by the nature. So genetic diversity has always been very much desirable. But what is the issue? Issue is that we have the tiger populations, which is in certain patches, but we don't have the connectivity into these patches. These for example, now just guys, understand this particular thing. If we want to increase the diversity into the genetic pool, obviously the tiger should be allowed, or it should be accessible, that they can move from this place to this place, from this place to this place, and vice versa. But what has happened, our tiger habitats, is it clear, the tiger reserves that are there, or the landscapes where the tigers are found, they are very much isolated islands. In between, the habitations have come in between. Even guys, when a single tiger reserve is being mentioned, it is often sometimes divided into the zones. Why? Because in between there is a highway that is going on, in between there is some other infrastructure project that is going on. It basically creates the small islands of the tiger population. Now guys, basically there are certain keywords that has been provided. Fine. Basically the article says that now the chance events that may cause them to lose advantageous genetic variants, this is something which could be highly problematic for the tigers. There is a process of genetic drift that has been mentioned. Is it clear or not? Genetic drift has been mentioned. Now the article provides this particular thing, that we need to manage our landscapes in such a way, we need to manage our tiger reserves in such a way that connectivity between them is provided, so that any such impact is not there, and by this particular way only we can be able to protect our tigers from the extinction. Fine. So this is guys the only one idea that was provided in this entire article. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Is the environmental performance index really faulty? So this article is talking about the environmental performance index, EPI, on which India ranked 180 out of 180 countries. So this article we are going to again use for GS paper number 3, environment, ecology and conservation. Now let's see first of all what do we mean by the EPI, and then we will doing the analysis of this particular thing. So guys, the EPI stands for environmental performance index. Okay, it is an international ranking system where countries are ranked onto the on whether they are taking enough steps to maintain the environmental health, whether they are going for the sustainability, whether they are protecting the forest, what is the status with respect to the tree covers. Now there are the 40 performance indicators and 11 categories, fine, which are there into this EPI. Now this particular EPI had ranked 180 countries. Now into these 180 countries, India has ranked last. Now basically these 180 basically when we talk about the ranking of a country, the ranking of a country is important to see that what are the steps that are being taken by the country, whether the country is going to fulfill the targets that they have taken, for example into the Paris in 2015 on the climate change. For example, in this COP26 also, India had taken the 5 targets, Panchamrit. So guys, these targets every country take so that they want to show resolve onto the climate front. So whether they are doing sufficient or not, EPI wants to rank that particular effort. Now guys, basically the top 5 countries are Denmark, UK, Finland, Malta, Sweden. India has ranked 180. The score is just 18.9, which is not good. Now guys, basically the government has rejected the EPI report. Government says that this EPI report is based on some faulty parameters. Now what government says? Government says that there is an arbitrary choice of the metrics that have been used. There is a biasness against the developing countries such as the India, and therefore this particular report is not correct. Now guys, the article says that in 2022, India has ranked last into the list. Now, basically, there are several indicators that are used for calculating this particular ranking. Now, guys, there is one particular parameter, that is the tree cover. Now, tree cover loss is one indicator, and this tree cover loss, it shows the deforestation that is going on in the country. Now, guys, when we talk about the tree cover loss in this particular category, Editorial is the best country. Fine, in this particular category of tree cover loss, fine, Editorial is the best country, it has performed best. But guys, just see that what is the amount of tree cover actually into the Editorial. Editorial just have 50 hectares of tree cover. Now 50 hectares of tree cover is there only into the Luton's zone of Delhi. Now when we talk about the India, when we talk about India have millions and millions of hectares of the tree cover. Now obviously conserving millions of hectares and conserving 50 hectares, they cannot be compared. Just conserving 50 hectares could be easily managed. In this this particular disparity, this particular disproportionate size that has been there, these are not being factored in this particular report, and therefore this report is bias, they have chosen some arbitrary metrics as per this particular article. Fine. Then further moving on, guys, India has also been ranked at 179 in the air quality. Now understand this particular thing, that air quality is not exactly the environmental problem, but it is an economic problem. Right now, when we talk about, guys, India is a developing country. Now in order to improve the air quality, we need to get rid of the biomass or the solid fuel. But keep it in your mind that India have a lot of poor population, rural population, which are using a lot of biomass, cow dung cakes, they are using the solid waste and all these particular things. So poverty is a big problem, and till the time the poverty cannot be alleviated, we cannot improve the air quality, and eradication of poverty will take some time. Then next is being provided that, see, in order to improve the air quality, what we can do, we can move to electric vehicles. Fine. Tomorrow, if we move to if all the vehicles will be changed to electric vehicles, the air pollution will be reduced by 20%. But still, 80% problems will not be solved. Along with the vehicles, many other areas also are there where we are using the carbon. We are using those kind of inputs which are having high carbon footprint. Now the Russia Ukraine crisis have started, and as Russia Ukraine crisis have been started, we find that into the entire world there is a shortage of fuel that is going on. Now this particular thing has actually given an opportunity to us that we will invest in the renewable energy, so that later words we don't see such kind of a dependency. But guys, this particular thing is going to take some time. It will going to take some more effort, some more financial assistance is to be given. So therefore all these particular changes will come over a period of time. Fine. But that particular benefit of the benefit of a differential situation is not provided in this EPI report. So the article provides this particular thing, that there are some kind of a distortions which are there in this particular report. Fine. Now moving on to the next article, narrow view. Now this article is we have taken from the Hindu newspaper, and the article is actually talking about the Supreme Court judgment onto the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Therefore this particular article is going to be important with respect to the GS paper number 2. GS paper number 2. Fine. Enforcement bodies, okay, judiciary, as well as in GS paper number 3 we can use this particular article. In GS paper number 3 there is the issue of money laundering that has been mentioned into the internal security. There also this particular article can be used. So in GS paper number 2, GS paper number 3, both places this article can be utilized. Now guys, first of all, yesterday also we have discussed briefly this particular article, but today we are going to take even more critical analysis of this particular article. So basically what has been the case? So I will first of all tell you a little bit of a background. Now the background goes like this, that first of all we have an act of money laundering. Now what is money laundering? Money laundering is to clean the dirty money. What is dirty money? Dirty money is that money that has been collected by the criminal activities. So obviously the money that has been generated by criminal activities, that cannot be used. So that money will be cleaned, and by that particular thing, now cleaning is a process by which money will be put through certain processes, and at the end of the day it will be shown that the money has actually been earned by the legal means, by the legitimate means. Now money laundering is a very problematic thing, and in order to deal with the money laundering in India, we have the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the Enforcement Directorate has been given a power that it can file the cases in the matters of money laundering. Moreover guys, one thing, I am not going too much into the detail in the process of money laundering, because in the yesterday's newspaper already I had discussed this particular process. If you have seen, well and good, no need to go in that. Clear? Now the judgment of the Supreme Court. So guys, over the past few months, what has happened, the political people, they are saying this thing, that they are unnecessarily being harassed by the Enforcement Directorate. Center government is using Enforcement Directorate against the political people. The cases are being filed against them into the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and they are being arrested. Now guys, one very big issue comes under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act is that, see, whenever a complaint will be filed against a person, okay, basically the ECIR, that is the Enforcement Case Information Report. Now this report contains that, okay, why a person is being arrested, what charges are there onto this particular person. Now the PMLA provides that it is not mandatory to give this ECIR report. Fine. And because this ECIR report is not being given, people don't even know that why they have been arrested. And when they don't know why they have been arrested, obviously they cannot put forward their defense. Is it clear? So this particular thing was criticized a lot. Okay, after that, guys, basically there was the bail provisions were very much stringent bail provisions were there. Getting a bail was very much difficult, and this particular thing was also criticized. Fine. Then, guys, the third criticism that was there is that the opposition had said that actually there are many of the amendments that have been made into the Prevention of Money Laundering Act through the money bill, through the Finance Act that is passed after the budget. So is it correct to bring the amendment through the money bill? These all questions were raised. Now, guys, what Supreme Court had said in a nutshell, Supreme Court had said that the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, fine, it is, this particular act is first of all very important for India. The money laundering is a heinous offense similar to the terrorism. So therefore all the provisions of the PMLA has been upheld, and it has been said that it could be used by the government. Even the enforcement directorate through the Prevention of Money Laundering Act can actually arrest the people, and there is no problem. Supreme Court had provided that, however, when the constitutionality of this particular provision is concerned, is it clear that whether the money bill that was used to bring these amendments, whether it is correct or not, for that we will be constituting a larger bench, and that larger bench will see this particular thing. So in a nutshell, what has happened? The majority of the provisions, of this particular Prevention of Money Laundering Act has been upheld by the Supreme Court. Fine. Now the editorial, it is talking about this particular thing. That fine, Supreme Court has provided that it is good. Supreme Court has provided that India has large number of international commitments, okay, and therefore we needed to follow this particular Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Moreover, Supreme Court has also provided this thing that this particular money laundering, it impacts the financial system, which is correct thing. It might impact the sovereignty of country, that is also correct thing. But one particular thing has been missed by the Supreme Court. This article says, what thing has been missed? Now the article says that, see, there are some very grave offenses, there are some very grave crimes that are there. For example, using the laundered money for terrorism, terror financing. Sometimes laundered money is used for financing the terrorist activities. Fine. Narcotic smugglings is there. Fine. Money is generated by the corruption. Okay. Sometimes the money is generated by the some time of a criminal extortion and sex rackets and all these kind of things. Fine. Sometimes there is a serious evasion of taxes as well as duties also there. Now these are very serious crimes, and for that particular these kind of crimes, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, Enforcement Directorate, etc. should be used. This is something. But actually what has happened over so many of the years, into the schedule of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, many other offenses have also been used under which the PMLA can be used. Now what are these offenses? Let's see them one by one. Fine. Fraud, forgery, cheating, kidnapping, copyright infringement, trademark infringement. Now guys, see, copyright infringement, trademark infringement. Now suppose let's say I have made I have written a particular book. You can file a case against me that I have actually stolen your idea. You can file a complaint against me against the copyright infringement. Now to justify this particular thing, it will take some time. Moreover, guys, copyright infringement, trademark infringement, okay, the fraud, forgery, etc., though these are some crimes which are to be dealt, but dealing it under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, where a person will not even be provided ECIR, is not correct. And guys, any person can file a complaint on these particular grounds. Are you getting it or not? Now understand this particular thing, that in India, where the solving of cases, the backlog of cases is so much high, sometimes the process itself becomes the punishment. Doesn't matter that the person will be acquitted at the last, but guys, during the process the person will be kept into the jail. Now the article says this particular thing, that the Enforcement Directorate has selectively targeted the regime opponents, the people who are criticizing the government, and they are being charged and they are being put into the jail on some of the flimsy grounds sometimes, such as the copyright infringement, forgery. Now this particular when we talk about the fraud, okay, the fraud is a very broad term. The fraud of 2 rupees is a fraud, and the fraud of 2000 crore rupees is a fraud. Are you getting it or not? So these particular things should not be dealt under the PMLA, and the Supreme Court should have come out with some kind of a safeguards, which it has missed. Is it clear or not? Okay, sir, could you please give example of dirty money and black money? See, suppose I am doing some business and I am earning in this particular business, let's say 12 lakh rupees per year. 12 lakh rupees per year I am earning, but I tell the government that I am just earning 2.5 lakh rupees. Is it clear or not? And when we talk about up to 2.5 lakh rupees, no tax is to be paid. Clear? There are two regimes actually, old regime and new regime. In new regime 5 lakh rupees, in old regime 2.5 lakh rupees. However, will not make the things complicated, keep it simple. So I am actually, a business person is earning 12 lakh per year, but it reports that it is earning 2.5 lakh rupees and he is not paying any taxes. So basically the money that he has saved, the money on which he has not paid the tax, this particular money is black money. What is a dirty money? Dirty money is one which is generated by the illegal means, fine, by crime, extortion, all these kind of things. That is the dirty money. The money that is earned by corruption, dirty money. Fine. Now moving to the next article. After the referendum, the challenges of a power grab in Tunisia. Now guys, this particular article, it is talking about the political crisis that is going on in the Tunisia. Now guys, first of all, when we talk about the Tunisia happens to be a very important region. It is because that the Tunisia was a country where the Arab Spring actually started. Okay, Tunisia is a country where the Arab Spring started. Now guys, when we talk about the Tunisia, little bit of a geography of Tunisia, if we talk about it, Tunisia, it is part of Maghreb region. It is part of Maghreb region. Fine. Maghreb region, it is in the North Africa. It is in North Africa. So it is a part of Maghreb region of North Africa. Is it clear or not? After that, when we talk about the Tunisia, fine, there is Algeria. The borders of the Tunisia are Algeria. Algeria is the boundary country of the Tunisia towards the west. Then there is Libya. After that, guys, this particular country is also bordered with the Mediterranean Sea. Clear? Now, when we talk about Tunisia, why Tunisia is important? Because guys, Tunisia was the country from where the Arab Spring started. What was the Arab Spring? Basically, around 2010, this particular region of North Africa, certain region of the Middle East, here a wave came where people wanted to have a democracy. Okay, and for this particular thing, many of the countries which were being ruled by the autocrats, many of the countries which were being ruled by the monarchs, etc., they started to oppose these rules and they wanted that the democratic government should be established there. So the Arab Spring was a wave that started in 2010 where the countries wanted to have a democratic system. They wanted to remove the autocratic systems that were there. Now this Arab Spring started from Tunisia. Fine. And because of this Arab Spring movement that started in Tunisia, what happened? The ruler of that particular time, Zine al-Abdin Ben Ali, who was ruling since 1987, he fled from the country. Okay, and a kind of a democratic governance came in the country. Now guys, basically Tunisia was the only country where the democratic transition came, and for a considerable time, even democratic transition sustained in the Tunisia. So Tunisia was a successful example, one of a mostly successful example of the Arab Spring. Now, in 2014, Tunisia adopted a new constitution. Now guys, this particular constitution had a mixed form of a government where the parliamentary and presidential system both were adopted. Now both the prime minister will be elected as well as the president will be elected, and both of them will be elected directly by the people. Now guys, the president and parliament both will have their different duty. First of all, when we talk about the president was to be responsible for military affairs as well as foreign affairs, and the prime minister was responsible for the day-to-day governance. This particular system came in the Tunisia after 2014. Okay, now guys, the things were going good, but what happened? Basically, in the elections that were held into the Tunisia after the 2014 constitution, Islamist Ennahda party came in the power. Now this Islamist Ennahda party, it has the links with the Muslim Brotherhood movement. Now Muslim Brotherhood movement, it is basically more inclined towards the Islamist ideology its Islamist ideology and such credentials. Now, this particular thing was not liked by the secularist people of the Tunisia. They did not wanted that the religion should play much of an important role into the governance, and therefore they were not very much happy with the Ennahda party and its prime minister. So unrest was spreading fine against the prime minister. During this particular time, the president, whose name was Kais Said, the president, what he did, he removed the Ennahda, he removed the prime minister of the Ennahda party, fine, whose name was Haichim Mechich. He removed this prime minister and the president came to the power. And president, guys, just focus here. Earlier I told you that the president had the power for the foreign and military affairs. So last year what happened, he removed the prime minister and even the day-to-day governance the president brought in his own hand. This something was happening. Now guys, even the people were frustrated from the ruling government, that is the prime minister, because there were certain reasons. Number one, the COVID-19 crisis. So basically the highest per capita COVID deaths were there in the Tunisia. Then the economic downfall happened into the Tunisia. Protest broke down into the Tunisia, fine, and all these particular things were happening. Now in this particular background, what happened, basically the president, that is the Kais Said, who removed the prime minister, he proposed for a new constitution. Now this particular new constitution would have established the presidential system and would have given more power to the president Kais Said himself. Is it clear or not? Now in order to ask the people that whether should we have such kind of new constitution where the more power will be given to the president, should we come out with a presidential system, a referendum was carried. Fine, referendum is where people will give their vote. Fine, so the referendum was carried. Now in this particular referendum, it has been said that 94.6% people, they have backed this new constitution. They have supported the president and the presidential government is coming now into the Tunisia. But guys, it has been criticized also. Number one, it has been said that actually 30% voter turnout there was in this particular election. 30% voter turnout were there. Oppositions, they have not participated into this particular election, say this particular referendum. So the referendum is not fair, it is being said. Moreover, the opposition party said that Mr. Said, the president, he had just carried a coup and had basically this is not a democratic way in which he had formed this government, even the process is not democratic. So this is the issue that is going into the Tunisia, and now the challenge that have been the referendum that has been finalized. Now guys, see, you don't need to go too much into the detail in this particular thing, because this is at the end of the day an internal matter of the Tunisia. Direct implications on India are very much less here, so too much into the detail you need not to go. So that is all about this particular one, and now we'll move to the next article. Now here there are the article much needed bailout, BSNL, reviving the BSNL. Now guys, these particular article are just talking about the recent decision where the government has agreed to provide 1.64 lakh crore rupees to the BSNL for the revival of the BSNL. Is it clear or not? Now this particular article, it is just talking about how many crore of losses are there, what type of spectrums right now the BSNL is using, what their competitor, what type of spectrum they are using. All these particular things are being provided. Now guys, rather than these particular articles, I have discussed this particular entire issue with the social background in the yesterday's newspaper analysis, that is the 28th July at 30 minutes 42 seconds. Is it clear or not? So there I had done a very comprehensive coverage of this entire issue, that why government doesn't wants to privatize BSNL and how it plays an important role in the social development of a country. So guys, if you have seen it, no need to read these articles because nothing relevant is provided. Essentially the same things are being given. However, if you have not seen it, please do watch this 32 minute 42 second coverage in the yesterday's newspaper analysis. So guys, that is all about the today, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. I hope that guys you have understood it, and please guys do hit the like button, please do subscribe to the channel if you have not done, as well as please do leave your lovely comments as you do. Fine. So guys, that is all. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.